to its subscribers, and they're going to begin making news reports in virtual reality and stereoscopic view. I viewed one of theirs that was on the plight of children refugees in the various wars, and it was really quite compelling, much more compelling, I think, than just looking at a video. Google wants to take your students around the world. Yes, it does. Google is got a program for teachers in schools where you sign up and Google actually sends somebody over to the school, and um, they have a series of virtual um, um, virtual trips that you can take your kids on. Um, so what's the deal? Well, what's the deal for us? Well, content is king, and so the question is, where is the content going to come from all of this cardboard and Oculus Rift and the variety of other stereoscopic 3D viewing cardboard? Well, as far as I know, there's basically two ways to create content. One will be videos, actual shot with special 360-degree video cameras, and then the software to stitch all that together. But the other way is computer graphic software, and actually that's what we do in OpenSim. We create with computer graphics, both with in-world tools and with things like Blender. Um, so if we combine what we do in OpenSim with Unity 3D, we can make content for cardboard. Oh, by the way, what is Unity 3D? Okay, Unity 3D is free if you're not making more than $100,000 a year while using it. That's probably most of us. It's wide and deep, but you can learn a few things to get started, and it's really one of the two or three most popular engines for making computer games. You can create your game, and then actually you can output it to all platforms. I think all platforms: Mac, PC, Unix, Android. Plus, there are loads of free tutorials and actually a good text book reference at the end of this presentation. Oh, by the way, I set out in front of me, in front of the couch, I set out a vendor. If you click on that, you should be able to get a actual little cardboard to wear on your avatar. And most important, you can get a note card with all of the references um, uh, that will go along with this presentation. Um, all right, how do you do this? There's basically 5 steps. And I want to explain that, like I said, I'm a mechanic. I'm not really an architect. So just, besides, it wouldn't be possible in an in-world without a lot of videos to show you much detail on this. So I'm going to give you the concept and hope the concepts, and hopefully it'll get you interested enough to take the reference note card and follow up. So anyway, five steps. Okay, the first step is actually something that you may already know how to do. That is, how do you get the using Singularity Viewer, how do you export your OS link sets as mesh objects to Unity 3D? Then I'm going to show you how to modify Unity itself. And then I'm going to show you how to set up your phone, or tell you. And then I'm going to tell you how to deploy the phone to the cardboard. Okay, step 1. Um, the last community conference, Pathfinder explained how to do this, and he did it better than I could. So there is a reference to the URL where you can watch his full demo. But basically, the idea is, here I am. I want to get this nice baggage cart into Unity so I can show it as a part of a scene in cardboard. You right click on it, you take and you click on export, and you click on DAE, and that's all explained in detail in Pathfinders. And once you set up your link set, you say you want to export it. You say, well, where do I export it to? And you tell someplace on your hard drive, and you click export. And I don't know if you can see this, but this is um, this is a folder on my hard drive, and it has a mesh object, that's the DAE, and the various um, various textures that go on that mesh object. So what I need to do now is grab that, move that from my hard drive to Unity. All right, well, that's it for step one. That was easy. Now, step two, create a simple Unity 3D game and import your OS meshes from your hard drive to your new Unity game. All right, let's start up Unity. You'll see this, and you click up on New to start your new project. And by the way, there's a Getting Started button here that is a really short and sweet tutorial on how to get started. Okay, once you say, yeah, I want to start a new project, you give it the name and you give it the location on your hard drive, and you click 3D. Easy enough. Now, when you start up a new project, you see a window with basically five different areas. The top left is actually the static view of your game. Just below that, the blue area, that will be where you can play your game. In other words, get it started. To the right of the black area is called the hierarchy, and then below that is your assets. You start out a game, you have a bunch of assets, you decide which assets you want to use, you put them up in the hierarchy, and they will show up in the um, in the um, uh, in the scene, in the game. Um, you Now, to start with, I don't know, I'm hoping you can see this, but to start with, there is only one item in the game, and that's the camera. And you see that both in the game and in the hierarchy. Um, all right. So you got your game started. You need to fill up the hierarchy with some basic Unity objects: the main camera, the directional light, the plane, a skybox, and a third-person character. The main camera is the first person view. That would be the same thing that your avatar would be seeing in OpenSim. The directional light is just the sun, and the plane is some sort of ground to set everything on. And the third person character, that would be like an OpenSim bot. All right, so you've got those. Um, um, Once you get those items in there, then you want to import your OS mesh. Um, um, All right. In order to add objects to the game, you go up to the menu. You click. You want to add a game object, and you want to add a 3D object. And you notice you got cube, sphere, capsule, a bunch of things, very similar to what we call prims in OpenSim. And if you click on one of those, um, you can add that directly to your sim. Um, Once you get everything added in, it'll show up in the hierarchy, but more important, it'll show up in the scene itself. So now I have a little guy, the third person guy, and I have a cube just for the heck of it. And the next thing I need to do, of course, is to get my wonderful OpenSim object into the game. So that's the next part here. Um, and in order to do that, whoops, let me go back. I skipped it. Okay. What I wanted to show here is I'm now showing that I have this object from OpenSim on my desktop, and it's this a folder called Exported. All I have to do is actually grab that and yank it over into the assets. And then I will see my baggage cart and the various textures that go along with it. Everything I've said so far pretty much is covered by Pathfinder's video. And we've also, by the way, I should have said, we have a big, long white paper that sort of goes through this in step by step. And you can, if you want, if you're interested, you'll get that reference. And at the end of the afterwards, you can just go through it and at your own leisure. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but in the bottom right corner of this, I'm looking at my baggage cart and all of the textures that go with it. All right. So the next step would be to bring the baggage cart into the scene, and now my little guy can run around and get his bags. One thing I will point out is that once you bring your link set into Unity, it's actually still a link set of all the prims that you made it, that you put together to put it together. And in Unity, you can actually manipulate those prims individually. All right. So now you would want to maybe press the play button to see what that might look like. All right, now we're going to try this. We're going to try this video, and when I bring it up, I think you have to click the screen to start it, and if not, it doesn't take very long, but we're going to give it a try. Well, maybe give it a try, maybe not. Well, if it doesn't play in your screen, there it is. So the little guy running around, and you say, why did he run right through it? Oh, he's gone. Okay, well that gives you a basic idea. All right, so once you've that's it for step 2. Step 2 of 5, right? And we created the Unity game and we put our mesh in it. Now the next step is to modify Unity to allow for stereoscopic output. In order to do this, you have to download 2 things. You download Google Cardboard Unity 3D plugin, and you download the Android SDK for your phone. And remember on your hard drive where you unzipped it. At this point, I make my apology to the Mac users and the iOS users. I'm a Windows guy and I have an Android phone, so that's all I could really experiment on this. But we have a reference at the end for the Mac users and the iPhone users on how to do it. It's a similar process and the same steps you would go through. All right. All right. So I downloaded the Cardboard plugin, and now I have to add it to my game. So similarly to adding game elements, you go up to the menu and you click add. You want to add an asset and you want to import a custom package. So when I click on import a custom package, then I go find the Cardboard plugin, and I'll get this large screen with all kinds of stuff in it, and I'll say, yeah, that's what I want. So I will click import, and if you notice in the bottom right hand section of the Unity screen, in the assets, there's a few things there. Once I click on import, all of a sudden, there's a whole mess of other stuff. Well, not all of a sudden because it takes a minute to get in there. But anyway, so now I have the cardboard uh, uh, plug-in, and basically the cardboard plug-in is going to change my camera to two cameras side by side, because stereoscopically you would have to have um, two images. So that's kind of what the cardboard uh, plug-in does. A few other things, but that's the basic thing. Um, and when you run in the stereo view, you see that it shows up two side by side objects. When you're when you're in the game looking at this, testing it out, when you're in Unity, I mean, if you do Alt and mouse, you can pan around, and the same way as you would pan around in OpenSim. All right. So that was the end of step 3. Um, in this step, we're going to set up your smartphone, in my case, Android, to receive the built an app that you would build from Unity. So in order to do this, you have to set your phone to developer, and you have to turn US debugging on. This is really part of the trickiest part, because it's so could be so unique to your phone and your phone's operating system. But you'll get the idea, and then you can muddle your way through. Just if I can do it, you can do it. All right. So on my smartphone, I had a screen that said, over here on the left, go to settings, and then it went over to developers options. And once I got there, I went over and I checked US debugging on, and it told me, are you sure? And I say, yes, I am sure. So I turned US debugging on my phone. And if it gets really esoteric, at one point I had to look at this screen, and I actually had to find the build number of my phone, and I had to tap my phone 7 times, not 6 times, but 7 times. What a way to reprogram your phone, tapping it 7 times. All right. And then you have to get something called in Android, the Android debug bridge. And again, all of this is in the in the uh, so here's so you plug your phone into the computer, and uh, uh, you go ahead and deploy your game to your phone. And there's several steps to do this. I got just a couple of minutes, so I want to wrap up real fast. But really, if I can do it, you can do it. You have to set a bundle name, and you have to set the orientation, and you build and run it. And it shows that you're going to build it, and you're going to run, and it'll start right on your phone. I made a mistake, but I corrected it. And you take your phone out of sleep, and you see a Unity splash screen on your phone, and you see the stereo view come right up on your phone, and you can watch whatever you put in there. If you close the game, you'll find an icon on your phone to restart the game, and you can move the icon to your desktop. And then you can go to your favorite coffee shop and show all the people there what a brilliant person you are.
Paul,
You'd see.
we're going to have to do a little wrap here. I'm
You'd
sorry.
seen your, and this is what you might be able to see. Thanks for watching. I hope this inspires you to go ahead and put your phone on.
And tell everybody where they'll be able to see these screens real quick.
If you get the note card out of the vendor, or if you contact me or I can give you the references. Thanks a
Okay,
lot for
great.
watching.
Thank you very much. All right, we will be right back with our next panel for AU Metaverse simulations using the Internet of Things, Bullet Sim, and Raspberry Pi.